The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
He's back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Basketball is back. Matthew Knight Arena will have fans in it again for basketball today at 4 o'clock. Oregon men taking on Texas Southern. A sneaky good Texas Southern team, by the way. 10 players that are either seniors or graduates. They're experienced. They're going to win the SWAC. This is a really tough opener for a men's basketball team that doesn't have a lot of returners. It's a lot of new faces that are going to be gelling together against Texas Southern. 3:30 pregame for us across the Oregon Sports Network, and I'm looking forward to being back at Matthew Knight Arena. Then, Oregon women's basketball tonight. Terry Johns and Bev Smith will be back courtside with fans in the building. The Ducks looking forward to playing, I think, an important game because no Tahina Paopao and no India Rogers for the Ducks here this evening. They're two primary ball handlers, so who's going to be taking over that duty? We're going to find out a little bit from Kelly Graves coming up on the show today, and then we'll find out for sure with a 7:30 tip-off here tonight. It's going to be on the Oregon live stream, and of course that means that Terry Johns and Bev Smith not only on the call for the Oregon Sports Network, but also for the Oregon live stream as well, which, anytime you get a chance to hear, no offense to Terry, anytime you get a chance to hear Bev Smith talk about basketball, you're going to take an opportunity to listen to Bev Smith talk about basketball. That's an Oregon legend and an Oregon Hall of Famer that we're talking about there. We have Jody Sykes, Chief Compliance Officer, coming up in just a moment. Also going to hear a little bit more from Joe Moorhead as he talks about the importance of Alex Forsyth returning for the Ducks, and that's big because Ryan Walk is now going to miss a few weeks. But speaking of Ryan Walk, we have some postseason and potential postseason awards and some preseason awards to tell you about. Let's begin with Anthony Brown. Today, one of 20 semifinalists for the Davey O'Brien Award. That is given to the best quarterback in the country, and Anthony Brown is the only Pac-12 quarterback on that semifinalist list. Congratulations to Anthony Brown. And Ryan Walk, Oregon offensive lineman, selected as one of 10 semifinalists for the Burlsworth Trophy, awarded the most outstanding college football player who began his career as a walk-on. Love to see it from Ryan Walk. He has taken advantage of everything that has been earned by his performance on the field and off the field. And, I mean, there's so many puns because Ryan Walk started as a walk-on. You just can't make this stuff up, can you? I mean, you would have told me if I had said that to you, like, that's not really his. No, that's really his last name. Walk is the only player from the Pac-12 to be named a semifinalist. The selection committee will announce the top 3 Burlsworth Trophy finalists on November 16th. I think Ryan Walk's got a good chance to win it, even though he's going to be banged up for the next, few weeks. Will Richardson, he's already been on a couple different preseason award watch lists as we turn to basketball. Preseason list for the Wooden Award, which is given out to the best player in college basketball every year. So congratulations to Will Richardson. And then a pair of women's basketball players, Tina Paopao and Niara Sabally, were named to the Wooden Award top 50 watch list heading into this season. Love to see it. What a day. It's tip-off Tuesday officially. The Ducks back at Matthew Knight Arena. We're going to talk more about that. Also, a lot of other interesting tidbits coming from Jody Sykes. She's the Chief Compliance Officer who was kind enough to take time out of her busy schedule to join us today. Jody, great to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
How are you?
Thanks for having me. I am well. And yourself?
Good. I mean, basketball is here. We got a big football game, 7:30 against Washington State.
We're just a little busy this week.
The overlap season, like everybody always around these walls gets a little frantic during the basketball-football overlap. But I'll tell you, Jody, I mean, there's not a lot of programs out there that have 3 top 15 teams between those 3 programs. That's going to make for a fun November, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You excited to be back at Matthew Knight Arena for basketball?
I'm excited for our fans to be back in Matthew Knight Arena. I feel like our student athletes missed out a little bit when the fans weren't there. I know the fans missed being there and seeing the action live. I'm just excited for that. I know we have a lot of protocols and everything we still have to follow, and masks are going to be crucial and different things, but just for folks to feel that energy, see those students and how hard they work in person, I'm just really excited for our fans.
GoDucks.com, you can't miss it. Banner across the top, updated protocols, everything that you need to know about getting into Matthew Knight Arena. Spoiler alert, nothing's really changed over the last couple months as we've been talking about this on the show. So you're in charge of compliance.
Sometimes.
You're also in charge of women's golf.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you're in charge of making sure that people like me get a post-game snack.
Occasionally.
Which is, God, thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
I mean,
You're
just
welcome.
that is great. What's up? I mean, what are you keeping track of these days?
So due credit to our nutrition staff and Cody Look, who actually put all the work in to get you those post-game snacks. I just stand there and hand out the boxes. So I will take credit, but at the same time, it is that is not me. So I just want to clarify that for all the fans watching at home.
But I always know that I get my post-game fist bump.
That is true. That is true.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's important. I mean, routine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Coach Cristobal actually told Jerry Allen that because Jerry didn't quite end their pregame interview the way that he usually does.
Okay.
Coach made him stop and re-record the thing.
Nice.
Like, routine is important, right, Jody?
Absolutely. I am there win or lose on the road.
That's
so,
right.
always there to give the fist bumps to the guys and to anyone who walks through the door at the same time. Yeah. But no, everything's good. We're, just like everyone else. We're super busy. We're in that overlap that you mentioned with the fall sports ending and then the winter sports kicking off. And so there's a lot going on. There's just, and it's no different in the world of compliance and women's golf and beach volleyball and everything that's going on, like, just like, okay, here we go. What do we do?
Right.
Here we go. But honestly, if you've seen me on any of these interviews before, that's pretty much my standard.
Yep.
Just dealing with whatever fire has to be put out and trying to stay ahead of the game and not playing too much catch up.
You're like the example of somebody who has a resting heartbeat that's very high, but you have like the equivalent of the resting heartbeat schedule.
Right.
It's just always, like busy is normal. I guess,
I mean, it was weird taking a break during COVID. I have to admit that.
Sure.
It was just I liked it. I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, that was kind of nice. Okay.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, okay, we're back in the routine. Here we go.
Sure.
What's next? I look at my schedule for the day and I'm like, okay, what do I need to pack with me? Like to this morning, I was here at 5:30 and I'll be here till about 8:30 tonight.
Jeez.
And we've got events and we got I don't know. I've been in the business so long, I don't know any different.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a good thing, but for me, that's just kind of what it is.
Well, I think that's routine, right?
Right.
That's normal.
Right.
Well, I got to ask you, I mean, this is kind of the routine check-in on where things stand in the greater college sports landscape. Of course, name, image, and likeness has totally changed the college sports landscape. What's the latest that fans need to know on that front? What do you think people should know about?
Sure. I think the big thing that fans need to just continue to evolve is there's a lot on the surface of name, image, and likeness. We are just tipping the edge of where this could go, where it is going. And without a national bill, without something on the federal level, we're going to continue to see other schools and other departments and other universities doing things differently than what we're allowed to do. And so I encourage our fans to don't jump off the deep end if you see something at another school. Maybe their state bill allows it, ours may not.
May not, yeah.
But the other thing is we are doing everything we can for the Oregon student athletes. And ultimately that's all that our fans care about. That's all we should be caring about, is finding ways to help our student athletes capitalize on this movement if they want to. And I would say, right now we probably have maybe 25-30% of our student athletes who seem to be capitalizing in one way or another.
Yeah.
And then there's others who have expressed zero interest. They've even answered survey questions that are like, no, I'm just going to focus on school. I'm going to focus on my sport. I just don't want to be in this space, right? And then we have others that are on the opposite end of that, where they just are head first into the weeds, loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
So just be patient. There's a lot of information out there about name, image, and likeness. Some of it's accurate, some of it's not. And there's a lot of confusion about name, image, and likeness and what you can do and what you can't do and what third-party companies can do and what agents can do and what marketing firms can do. And it's just a lot. So just have patience and just take everything in and don't try to, jump to conclusions when you happen to read one headline about one topic of one person.
And I think the perspective for fans is similar to me. Like, I'm thinking about it from how do the student athletes benefit from all this? But also then, if you're a Duck fan, How do the Ducks get to do it better than everybody else? Because
Right.
that's what we're always thinking about, right? I mean, I think that's why I feel like there's got to eventually be a level playing field. You and I have talked about this before. You mentioned having a national bill. I mean, that has to be the next step here, right?
And I don't think we're ever going back to a level playing field. I think, I just don't see that happening individually for student athletes within a specific team or nationally. I think that the folks who market and capitalize and get it in front of, like Oregon is known to do, are going to, be the leaders in this space, just like Oregon has been in the leaders in other spaces, right? And I don't think we're going back to, and this kind of leads into our next topic, but I don't think we're ever going back to a level playing field because this Constitution Convention that's happening next Monday and the draft of this proposed, discussion topic came out yesterday. Basically says, here, Division 1, you go make your own rules, and here, Division 2, you go make your own rules, and here, Division 3, you go make your own rules, and it puts a lot back on the conferences, puts a lot back on the institutions, and this is just the first step. That's the other thing folks need to realize. If you're reading the headlines about this Constitution Convention, this is the first of many steps, and so again, not jumping too far into what's happening here, because it's very detailed. It's a 19-page document. I've read maybe 2 of them so far.
And there's probably size 8 font?
Right. Yeah, something like that. So, just not diving too far into the deep end, but the college model is going to evolve. And we're going to see that through name, image, and likeness, through the changes to the Constitution, through the updates, whether we get a federal bill on the name, image, and likeness stuff or not, we are going to see this continued evolution of the college model.
Well, and it has to do that, right? I mean,
For sure.
you have to adapt and progress forward. I mean, otherwise you get left behind,
Right.
I think.
Right.
I get that. Jody Sykes, Chief Compliance Officer, joining us. So you talk about, if you missed the headlines yesterday, the NCAA had a new draft of a constitution that basically says, hey, this is kind of the direction that things are going to go forward. So what's the next step there? Like, what should fans be looking for? What are you looking for as kind of the next step with the NCAA's process and in truly modernizing, I guess?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think the next step will be this convention that's coming up Monday. I think what I expect from that, at least from what I've understood it to be, is there will be a discussion of this draft document that was released on Monday. And I think depending on what's maybe more solidified or more finalized from that, we're going to see the baby steps that are going to be taken. There's many, we'll be lucky if any of this is done by next summer. Yeah. So I encourage folks to just, again, take it all in, take a deep breath, and then let's, push back out once we understand actually what it is, because there's just a lot of fluctuation right now. The committee that's working on this is trying to be open and transparent about what they're thinking, what their thought process is, what information they've taken in, what recommendations they're making, but nothing is final yet. Until it is, even the draft that was posted yesterday, could change. So I think everybody just needs to ride the waves, kind of just take it all in and hope for the best.
Jody Sykes, Chief Compliance Officer, our guest. We got to get a timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that actually has come up in recent months. What happens if a coach can't be at a game? Well, there's a process with that you can actually have a fill-in coach. Jody was one of them. We're going to talk about that coming up with the person that has to do all that paperwork next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard, Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, joined by Chief Compliance Officer Jody Sykes today. Getting ready for basketball this afternoon. We're going to hear from Kelly Graves, and I talked to Dana Altman actually for a long time at practice yesterday. It was good to be able to do an interview with him in person. We did them on Zoom all of last year.
For sure.
And it was nice to be able to sit and actually – it felt normal to sit on the bench and just be talking with Coach Altman with a microphone again. And I said to him afterwards, I said, Coach, this is weird. And he kind of laughed, and it's like, yeah, it's nice to be back. And fans, we're excited to have you back at Matthew Knight Arena coming up here. 4 o'clock for the men, 7:30 for the women here tonight. So I want to talk to you about that process. So it's actually come up. It's come up before, but it seemed like Oregon programs have had a lot of, quote, fill-in coaches over the last few months, really.
Sure.
Volleyball, golf, we'll talk about. The most notable one, I think, from a headline standpoint, of course, was Joe Moorhead and the Oregon offensive coordinator. Did I miss anybody? Were those 3 recently?
Those are the big ones, yes.
So what's the process like if a coach, for example, with Coach Moorhead, he's unable to be there for a game? Like, what's the process? How does that all work to get like is that a good term, a fill-in coach?
Yeah, I mean, a temporary replacement fill-in coach. I mean, there's not a lot of technical language to the whole thing, but basically you have a person who has been incapacitated for some reason or another, and most of the time what we see is medical. Right. And it could be the spouse that you have to take care of, and that's part of the medical. It could be that, in the past we had a coach that had a hip replacement and wasn't able to go on the road recruiting, so the coach was still able to do some of their duties here, but we were able to fill in for that coach or temporarily replace that coach for the recruiting duties because that coach couldn't get on a plane. And this particular temporary replacement bylaw has existed for some time. We've seen it more in the last 20 months or so because of some of the COVID replacements that are happening. Right. Obviously this fall with us and the examples that you listed are fairly visible, especially the Coach Moorhead one. And it just depends on what the situation is. So it depends on how long the coach is going to be out. It depends on, can they do some of their duties and not all of them? Is it just they can't go on the road thing, or is it they can't do anything thing? And, with each sport, they have countable coaching limits. So if you're taking someone off to replace them, then it's a temporary situation where your count is still staying the same. Whatever the sport's particular limit is still staying the same. But you've got this coach not doing X and this coach is filling in on X, right? And so it varies a little bit as to the length, as to the severity, as to the, circumstances. We have, our women's golf coach had to take off for his spouse. Joe Moorhead was replaced with one of our analysts for a time. And again, when they're healthy, when they come back, or when they, things level out, then they're basically taken out and replaced with the coach that should have been there in the first place.
Interesting. So is it similar? It's a different process, obviously, when a coach, say, moves on for another job. But it's a similar spirit to that, right? Like you're just trying to fill someone in to help the student athletes and get the job done.
For sure. So an example in that case is we have volunteer coaches in some of our programs, right? Baseball and softball in particular, and a few others. And if we've had an assistant coach that has taken on a new job or has gone on to be a head coach somewhere, we may temporarily activate that volunteer coach into that assistant coach role.
So they can recruit.
So they can recruit and keep up the rhythm and keep up whatever it might be until the actual position is posted and the hire is made. So there's actually a little bit of it's kind of a little different in that scenario, but the same concept applies, that it's not a permanent position appointment, but a temporary replacement so that you can keep up with things.
And part of the reason that I bring this up is you filled in as a coach.
I did.
So you got a chance. So Jody's the sports administrator for the women's golf team. Just got back from Hawaii, by the way, the Pac-12 preview.
I was not there, but it was beautiful.
The team did. Yeah, I mean, I talked to Coach D in the hallway, and he was like, Yeah, it was terrible, Joey. You wouldn't have wanted to be there. Yeah, it was Pac-12 preview in Hawaii. Just no fun at all. But in all seriousness, what was that like? You got a chance to fill in as coach.
Yeah, no, it was great. Coach Monica, kind of served as the head coach, and I just kind of filled in kind of an assistant coach, support, director of ops type role. The team did fantastic. I was able to do a few things inside the ropes that I normally don't get to do as a spectator. I, of course, did not give a single piece of golf advice. I mean, I can play my own game, but I was not touching anything that they were doing.
I got to interrupt you.
Okay.
Jody played collegiate golf, all right, everybody? I think she probably has a pointer or two.
But at their level, like, I'm not messing with that, right? I'm not messing with what they're doing. But they were fun and to be around. I rigged bunkers and I put flags back in holes, and I got lunches and I filled water bottles, and it was really a lot of fun. I was grateful to be able to just be there to support them and to help Coach Mo and just make that tournament a success. And as you noted, and I'm sure you'll talk with Coach Derek at some point, this was a very successful fall for women's golf.
Very.
They finished top 5 in every tournament that they played in, including the win in Nashville. And so, and Heather Lynn has, 2 rounds in the Stanford tournament and in the Hawaii tournament of 6 under.
Yeah.
Individual 18-hole rounds of 6 under.
Impressive.
We're just impressive. And as we've noted before, Cynthia, basically won the Nashville tournament on her own. She was 17 under for the course of the tournament, and the closest team to us was 12 under.
Right.
So
Crazy.
There's that. But, it's been a very successful fall for them. And I was just grateful to be able to have the capacity and the skills to fill in and help Coach Derek out. And it was great. And they're such a great team, and they're just super nice to me, and I was just grateful to be a part of it.
That's been awesome to see that program grow. And I'll tell you, Pac-12 championships can't get here soon enough in the spring. National championships, because women's golf, man, they're going to be in that conversation.
And we host Pac-12s here.
I know.
Ah.
I'm not that I'm excited about that or anything.
Not that I'm excited. Come on.
That's a little extra work for you, though.
No, but it's not too bad. Aaron Watson helps a lot, and the Pac-12 staff comes in, and it's a little extra work, but we've run a national championship here, so we can handle the Pac-12.
And one thing that I think is amazing, and I've said this about Oregon in the past. And I've actually talked to Pooh about this, Aaron Wasson, who handles a lot of the NCAA event hosting stuff. Because as you can imagine, there's a lot of things that come with it. It's not just turning everything blue for the NCAA at Matthew Knight Arena on the LEDs, right?
For sure.
There's a lot that goes into it. Oregon hosts a lot of these things.
We do.
Probably more so than anybody else in the conference, I'm going to gamble to say. It's got to be close.
It's got to be close. Yeah, it's got to be close. We only have 20 sports, so we don't host some of the water polos.
But the ratio of sports to hosting championships for said sports.
We have to be up there,
yeah,
right? We have to be
it's almost 1-to-1.
Yeah, and sometimes that's because you host if you're good enough, and we're good.
Exactly.
So,
That was kind of the genesis of what I was getting
I'm just saying.
You said it way better than I could have said it, which is that was great. Well, Jody, I always have so many different things to talk to you about, and it's great to just pick your brain for the information. So here's to a good resting heart rate.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know what good is. That's all relative, but
exactly right.
We'll see you at Matthew Knight Arena tonight.
Sounds like a plan.
Jody Sykes, Chief
Thanks
Compliance Officer. Always a wealth of information, and on to your next meeting.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. When we come back, going to talk a little bit about basketball upcoming, also women's soccer. Man, I think they were like number 65. We're going to talk about that when we come back here a little bit from Graham Abel on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy, no matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages.
It's been so long.
Nope, sorry, Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
Dear Exit Strategy, no matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time, as in
Spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back at Doug Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. I got a chance to catch up with Coach Altman yesterday at practice, getting ready for that 4 o'clock tip against Texas Southern. Look, Ducks feel really, really good about where they're at from a veteran guard perspective. Will Richardson, Jacob Young, Davion Harmon, you're going to like what you see. Keep your eyes on the inside, though. What do the big men look like, and how healthy are the big men? That's going to be a question heading into this matchup. More on that in the Toyota Coaches Corner with Dana Altman tonight. Actually, really this afternoon, a 3:30 start to the pregame show. So stick with us. The Ducks have been dealing with some injuries with their big men, so we'll see what happens here tonight. And for women's basketball, it's kind of the opposite. You feel really good about your post players heading into the season opener tonight at 7:30. But what about the guards with Tina Pau and India Rogers out? Well, Kelly Graves met with the media to give you a little preview of the start of the season coming your way this evening.
Well, we're really looking forward to it. I wish it wasn't Idaho State tomorrow. They're very good. Return everybody off an NCAA tournament team, pick to win the league again. They're ahead of where we're at right now because they could hit the floor running, with so many return pieces. So we've got to work it out for us. We're obviously going to be shorthanded. So that just means everybody's got to step up a little bit more. I'm confident in our team, but this is going to be a really good test. This is not going to be like our first 2 exhibition games for sure.
Kelly, wanted to get an update on Kylie. First, second, on Hosendove, if you guys have gotten a ruling there just yet, and if there's any clarity on Tahina's timeline.
I've not heard on Taylor. That's the NCAA timeline here. Kylie should be ready to go. Albeit she has not practiced, but from what I understand, she'll be cleared for tomorrow. And then Tahina's, day to day. She still has not practiced. My guess is it's still going to be another couple of weeks. We are shooting for the Atlantis, the Bahamas tournament.
Coach, just in the interim, then obviously, both Andy and Tahina were expected to be big parts in terms of ball handling. It seems like a lot's going to fall on Maddie's shoulders, Taylor Bigby's shoulders, Elise's shoulders. Just kind of the approach going forward, and I don't even kind of say how you're going to rotate them, but just how they can maybe fit together.
Well, we've basically been playing Maddie at the 1 anyway. It's shared really when Indy and Tahina are out there. Really, any of those guards can kind of assume that 1 spot. Taylor Bigby has not practiced much with us, so it's still something really new to her. And what we do, even though we run kind of a pro style offense, there's a lot of reads, there's a lot of nuances to it, and it's tough for a freshman to come in and pick it up, especially one that hasn't been practicing. Elise Hirsch, is a veteran, but she really has never played the point. So we're just trying to mix and match there. I'm confident in our players, though, that they're, that we're going to be fine there. But, the downside is we don't have 2 really, really good players out there playing with us. But the good side is this gives these other players a chance to have to produce and get meaningful minutes early in the season. And in the end, that'll make us better. You guys know me. I'm in it for the long haul anyway. And so, for me, these early season games, obviously you want to win and you want to, and we're going to be tested, no doubt. But for me, it's the long game. We want to make sure that we're playing our best when the best counts in the spring.
Yeah, Kelly, speaking of long game, you guys have a lot of length on this team. How much do you think that's going to help you guys, not just with, 2 really, really good guards out, but just for the long haul is something, an advantage you have against other teams, perhaps?
Yeah, well, I think it's an advantage we're going to have most nights all year long, not just early and not just because these players are out. I think we need to continue to play through those guys. I thought the other night, I thought we did a really good job. I mean, Niara had 14 points in 15 minutes. Sedona ended up with a decent game, and Philly had 18 points in 18 minutes. So I thought we did a good job of getting inside. Now with Kai, that's another body inside. So we need to use that as a strength and play to it. No question about it. But I believe in, spreading the wealth, so to speak. And so we need not just great play inside, but we're going to need somebody on that perimeter, step up, make shots, make plays.
You kind of spoke about it in the open, but this is not really your traditional opening game, especially with Idaho State and everybody they returned from their team last year. Just talk about the challenges they present to your team, especially opening up the season with them.
Well, like I said, when you schedule these games, you're assuming you're going to be at full strength. I mean, regardless of who we had on our team, and if we had all our players back, it was going to be a difficult game. These guys are good, but you guys know me. We've always scheduled up ever since I've been here. We play a tough non-conference schedule, and then, of course, we play in the toughest conference in the country. So we always have a top 5 strength of schedule when it's all said and done. I just think in the end that makes us better. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to be tested. There's no question about it. These guys are coming in, and, they're not afraid. They beat Kansas State last year. They played at Nebraska. They could have beaten Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. So these guys are loaded. I mean, this is a really good basketball team. They're not going to be intimidated. They're not going to play scared. They're going to come in intent on beating us. And so we're going to have to be at our best.
To go back to the host and Dove NCAA bit for a second, Kelly, just because I'll give you the floor is, you have the bully pulpit here, but you had a player leave who was a 2-time transfer who just got cleared. And I don't know all the circumstances, but when you have a player leave and get clearance who's a 2-time transfer, and you have a player come in, even if she's expecting to not necessarily get it, to not have clarity, how frustrating is the current circumstance?
Well, it is frustrating, that some can and some get it, some don't. That is frustrating. There's no question. I think they did the right thing in giving the 1-time transfer rule, but now you have to take your chances with the 2-time. Either do a rule, hey, nobody's eligible, or, because I think everybody on those releases, they don't necessarily put the reason down that they're leaving, right? A lot of times they're going to put whatever they think is going to pass the NCAA. What angle can I take that they'll listen to? That's kind of frustrating, but the NCAA's got a lot of issues right now that they've got to worry about and figure out. I mean, right now they're on their heels, so to speak.
Obviously, we talked about kind of the absences for Tahina and India as ball handlers, but I was also wondering, just from a shot maker perspective, those are two of your best perimeter offensive players too. I'm not going to ask you strategically, but kind of who needs to step up and to fill in there. Obviously, we talked about some of the front court strengths there, so I figured that's part of it. But getting shots from the perimeter, kind of who needs to fill in? Everybody has to shoot better, I mean, and we have good shooters. They're not all necessarily from range. Sedona's an excellent mid-range shooter. Shania is a good mid-range shooter, but those from the perimeter that are going to get the looks. Elise Hurst, she's a fine shooter. 2 years ago, the last non-COVID year, she made 90 plus 3-pointers. So she's certainly capable there. Sydney Parrish is a good shooter. Knocked down, I think, 4 of 7 the other night. Maddie Shear hit a couple of threes. So I think we have capable shooters, but it's just one of those, you can't replace Tahina and India. I mean, they're arguably our 2 best shooters. So they'll be missed, but somebody will step up. I'm fully confident in that.
Somebody will step up here coming up tonight. 7:30 Idaho State following the men's basketball game, 4 o'clock against Texas Southern. And another coach that occupies the offices off Vallard Street at Matthew Knight Arena, Matt Ulmer. Head coach Oregon Volleyball is here following a weekend sweep. We're going to talk with him right after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously. But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one small step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Matt Ulmer, head coach, Oregon Volleyball, is joining us. What up, Coach?
Oh, hey.
Wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. There it is.
Yep.
Just I'm so used to we've been doing fist bumps for everybody now.
Yeah. Oh,
we can do that again. But
okay.
You and I, we got the handshake.
We're better than that, Joey.
Yeah,
we're better than that.
Hey, can we start with something fun?
Yeah. What do you got?
So I'm on social media. I follow things. Stuff comes up, and after a great weekend where the Ducks swept their competition this weekend, a director of operations and a head coach have a dance.
My kids won't stop singing the song now. It's like haunting me.
Really well done.
Well,
well done.
I have a lot of rhythm.
Nellie, the new director of operations, and then Coach Ulmer with a full-on.
She's not good for me.
Full-on TikTok dance. So who filmed it for you? Because it was on Nellie's TikTok, I believe.
I don't do TikTok.
So you don't know who filmed
it?
Well,
it says actually no. The TikTok it says at Casey, so our manager.
That's your manager.
Yeah. So she's fired.
So
that was that. See you, Case. Thanks for your years of service to the program. Love you.
God, I thought we'd start out on a good note, and I just got a manager fired.
Well, what'd you think?
I thought you did great. The heart was a little oblong, though, because you've got a foot.
I may have mentioned that to her 5 times.
Yeah, you've got. So those of you who did not see the video, it was, one of those coordinated dances. It ended with the two of them coming together to make a heart, but Matt's got a foot, so it was kind of an oblong heart.
Yeah. I told Nellie. I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. Yeah.
So what did you need, to find Nellie a stool?
She was supposed to stand up a little bit more because she didn't want me to crouch down, and she didn't.
Okay.
So it's her first year.
So it's
her first season.
But coachable.
I think so.
Yeah.
I like her energy.
Yeah. Energy's good.
Energy's good, yeah. Technique is not so great yet.
Really? You don't think so?
Future TikTok's technique will be better.
Okay.
She can do it.
Nellie, if you're tuned in, great work. Glad that you could kick us off on the right foot here. But hey, the reason you're dancing, great weekend.
Sorry, Casey. What?
Great weekend.
Oh yeah, great week. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Went on the road and took on Stanford on Thursday. And I thought we'd been talking about our serving, for a while, and I thought this was our best serving weekend that we've had. And that was really exciting. Yeah, so, exactly.
Funny.
It was really. I know. How about that? No, it was really exciting just to see so many different people step up and have big service runs, or just keep the pressure on. And we won 3 really close sets with Stanford. I think it's the first time we've swept them. I don't really know, but I think maybe ever. So, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And it's the first time we've won there since 2011.
I was gonna say I know it's the first time in a decade that you guys have won at Stanford.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a big deal for the program.
significant. Yeah.
Yeah. I said this to somebody. I don't know if it's ever been done where a team has swept Penn State and Stanford in the same season.
Probably not. Not a lot of schedule overlap until you get to
That's
postseason
what I mean.
with those
I
teams,
know,
right? Yeah.
Right. And that's 17 national championships. So it's
Not
cool.
bad.
It's cool. It's cool to think, see some of that stuff and just.
And your program's at that level. It's where you want it to be.
Trying to get there.
Yeah.
So just excited for the group, and I thought we were pretty tough against Stanford, and then Sunday going to Cal, and a lot of people did a lot of really nice things, and Kiari Roby got Freshman of the Week for it, and you gotta love to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I mean, Kiari Roby, we've been talking about her a lot the last few weeks.
Yeah.
It seems like coming into her own, maybe.
Definitely. I thought she blocked really well. Cal has a really nice middle who tends to kind of beat us up every time, and Kiari shut her down. And that was really cool. It was cool to see her take on that assignment, that responsibility.
Love
and,
to see it.
Yeah, and just execute it beautifully. So I could just see her confidence growing every day, and her potential is so high that it's fun. It's fun to see it go.
What's the next step for
her?
There's always going to be something, right?
Yeah. I think for her it's just that's a good question, because she's had matches where she's led us in scoring, UCLA, where I thought she was pretty dominant offensively, and then now she had a weekend where she did really well blocking, and presence at the net. So maybe just putting those two together.
Consistency.
It's kind of been one or the other with her focus, so now if we can get her to do both. But then we're also asking her to serve and play defense. In the back. So it's a lot. We're throwing a lot at her, and she's handling it really well.
What was we talked about it last week, that leading up to this weekend, practices were intense, I can imagine, at Matthew Knight Arena. So what shifted? What did you see this weekend that led to so much success and your team really clicking, with you guys are still banged up.
Yeah.
It seemed like everything clicked.
I think that we played very aggressive. Again, just attack mindset we talk about, and I thought we stayed there. And again, even we made a lot of errors, but that's part of it. You got to be okay with making some errors, but we're just going to stay aggressive, and we're going to keep playing a certain style. And we did it well enough, and I thought we were really, again, there was 3 due sets, I think, with Stanford.
Yeah.
We won all of them. I think that's a great sign for us. And it was different people stepping up. At the end, it was Taylor Williams, who hadn't played really back row, I think, at all this year. And, she played in the back row. She served 2 great serves and got a kill out of the back row and had a couple blocks to end it. Morgan Lewis was in the back row. I mean, it's just, so I think it's just that toughness of, whoever's on our team can do it. It's just a matter of that we have to go out and believe we can and execute at that level. So I thought that was really exciting. Yeah, it was a tough week. So, those dances are necessary.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself loose. I mean, I know you.
Yeah, you can't just be all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you could be.
Well, you could.
But
yeah.
I don't think
I'd survive yeah.
That we were talking actually before you got here about how maybe people have a high resting heart rate in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want the heart rate to be too high, okay?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
To confirm, first ever sweep of the Cardinal, confirmed.
Confirmed.
I double checked. I thought you were correct, but
okay.
I wanted to make sure before we put it out there. I wanted to ask you too about the defense. I mean, Cardinal hitting 275 coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You held them under 200.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be pretty happy with your defense overall.
Yeah, I think both matches we played in this year, I thought defensively we really stepped up. And played some good ball, and I thought we held our outsides, to a really good percentage, and they're really, really talented. So that was exciting. And again, the serving I think has a lot to do with that. It just helps set up our block, and we, the first time we played them, they blocked us off the court, and we actually outdid them in blocks this time. So that was good progress. Again, a lot of things that we need to get better at. I thought we showed a lot of progress in this past weekend, and now that needs to continue. We need to continue to get healthier and just get more settled in the lineup that we have.
Friday, 4 o'clock, Matthew Knight Arena. USC is in town. And then at noon on Sunday. So you guys are back at home. Just a ho-hum top 15 matchup, top 20 matchup between you guys and UCLA. No big deal.
Yeah, both those teams are both really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And so are we. So we're looking forward to it.
And this is part of a ticket package, by the way, that starts at just under $70 because you got men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, football, all at home this weekend. Starting $69, you get 5 games in 3 days. So, I mean.
What a deal.
Yeah, celebrate the weekend in Eugene, huh?
Oh, what a weekend.
It is a great weekend. I'm really looking forward to it because, it's funny. I think a lot about, like, how having fans back, like, that's still new for sports like basketball tipping off tonight. It was still new for you guys. I mean, I feel like, does it feel normal to you now, like, having fans back in, or do you still every now and then look around and be like, God, yeah, we didn't have this last year. This is weird.
College sports is pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
To see that.
Pretty awesome.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, what better way to spend less than $70 on something like that?
That's right.
Getting to go to see 5 sporting events in 3 days.
Yeah, it's awesome.
A lot
pretty
of
good teams, too.
A lot of beverages.
Pretty good teams.
Yeah, very good teams.
It feels more normal now having fans. But the first, I don't know, handful of weeks, it was strange.
Really?
Yeah, it was strange. But it's great. I mean, it's just the atmosphere is so much better, and it's always fun. So, yeah, we're getting used to it. Definitely.
Okay, so 4 o'clock against USC. We'll talk a little bit more about that because how do you beat them? Easy question, right?
Well, we lost the first 2 sets on the road to them, and then we won the last 3.
Right.
I thought our service pressure against them last time was key. If they're in system, if they have a good pass and the setter can set who they want, they're really tough to stop. So they run pretty fast offense. They like to set a lot of different people. Not everybody's that way, but they are. And then they serve really aggressive. So can we handle that pressure? So generally, coaches say serve and pass.
Sure.
And I'm going to say serve and pass.
Sure.
But I actually mean it.
So is that like in football? It's like run the ball.
Right.
So if volleyball, it's serve and pass.
Serve and pass.
Okay. But you actually mean it.
But I mean it. Like, it's not just a phrase. I actually think like that's actually where we need to win the game on Friday.
Okay.
So
same on Sunday?
I mean, when we played UCLA last time, their outsides I think had 40 kills against us in 3 sets. So
they're pretty good.
And I actually thought we served them okay. Like, I think we knew where the ball was going for the most part, and it still didn't matter. So for us, we have to score a lot better on the offensive side of the ball just to keep up with them. And then we're going to have to just, I don't know how. We played McMay a bunch, but you just got to hold her to 200 hitting percentage. Like, if you can keep her at 200, which I think you're asking a lot, but if you can do that.
What does she average on the year?
More than that,
yeah.
At least against us. I don't know, against us she does. So, last year they beat us the first match. We beat in the second match. She had a big match like she did this time around, and then the second one we did a better job. So, I mean, that's what it's going to be against our lefts. Can we calm them down, and then can we side out well enough, to put the match in our favor? So, I know we can. In both of the matches, I know we can execute what we need to. We're going to have to.
Get healthier, huh? That'd be a good thing.
I mean, you always want to have everybody available. Right?
Sure.
So injuries stink.
Yeah, they're the worst part of sports.
I agree. Yeah. And it's frustrating. And, but again, so Becca Morse and Taylor Williams stepped up this weekend, in an expanded role. And like Kiari Roby, like we talked about. And then Abby Hansen against Cal was great. So, I think one of the nice things for us is our depth is healthy. Which we didn't have early in the season. So now they're practicing and they're getting some better reps. So now I think they're much more prepared to go in the matches.
And game reps matter, right?
And then game reps matter. And right now they're doing that. So I think overall it's great for us. Yes, I'd like to get healthy at some point. Hopefully before the season ends.
That'd be good.
That would be good.
Well, here's to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
here's to that.
Well, and sometimes I know it's like you just can't catch a break.
Yeah.
So here's to catching a few breaks down the stretch, huh?
And we can overcome it.
You have. One more time on our celebration. Scott, could we just see our dance one more time? Yeah, that's good.
I can't believe they didn't give you the cannonball video.
We need to see that.
I'm not going to do your job for you.
Wow.
See how she dipped too low there? She was supposed to stay higher.
Yeah, I mean, I still say pretty good form though. I mean, how many rehearsals was this?
This is it.
So that was just it. You just went for it?
I could have crouched lower. Because if I bring my arm down anymore, I'm going to mess up my hair, and we know that's not going to happen.
Oh, sure. I'm actually surprised that you wear headsets when you come in the studio and you don't get like a stick mic because it flattens your hair in one spot.
Is that an option?
It could be.
Okay, next time.
Next time, you want the full on stick mic. You know why?
I have hairspray on my car to fix whatever is going on. No, I'm kidding.
You know why though? Like I feel like you and I always end up going like inside the show a little bit here, but. We don't do that because it's actually very common for people to move their hands when they talk, and so then no one can hear them.
Do you remember my first ever interview?
Well, the first one you did with me? Or
no,
the first one
with the media.
You did with the media. Yeah,
remember
with the media.
I did the swaying thing?
You swayed a lot.
Do you remember that? I learned a lot. Yeah. Oh, nah, it's okay. It's okay.
But you're coachable.
But I was like this. I got off, and they go, let's just try to be a little more still next time.
But you're coachable.
Yeah.
You got better.
Yeah. But I think I would bring the mic with me, if I did that.
But also, like in a normal setting, you're not really – you shouldn't be holding the mic like in that setting, right?
That's true.
So, but in our circumstance, like, if we give you a mic and then you kind of start, moving your hands around and suddenly you're talking like this and it gets really far away and it's hard to hear you.
Yeah,
so.
Don't do that. That was weird.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
He's
was
Matt
a-
Ulmer,
Hey.
Oregon Volleyball head
Thanks,
coach.
buddy.
Hey, thank you.
How are you? You good?
Great. Ready for basketball. Volleyball's coming down the stretch, but coming up next, I do got to talk a little bit with Graham Abel about soccer because, man, I swear I think they were like number 65 and 64 teams get into the postseason.
Next year they're in.
God,
Next year they're in.
They're what talk about it.
They're doing a great job.
Talk about heck of a first year for a head coach, though, right?
100%.
Waits almost a full calendar year to be able to coach a match.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yes.
So it's wild.
They learn valuable stuff, and they're going to take it forward. No question.
Just like you guys.
That's what we do.
4 o'clock on Friday, USC. It's a doubleheader at Matthew Knight Arena. Ticket package still available. 5 games, 3 days, under $70. Come on out, support the Ducks. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Shoot around for the men is on the practice court at like 3 o'clock, so it's perfect. I can do that, come down, watch you guys, get ready for the men's game too.
Wonderful.
It's awesome.
Wow.
It's great.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right. Appreciate it.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit with Graham Abel on the we're back to the dance video. Those of you who are listening to the show,
yeah. They can't see. Oh, yeah.
Do yourself a favor on the radio audience and maybe just don't find it.
Yeah. Casey's fired.
Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Sorry, Case.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. My thanks to Matt Ulmer for always joining us. And now Graham Abel, Oregon soccer head coach. He met with the media a little bit yesterday. God, they were so close, guys. So close. Following the selection show, Ducks did not see their name called, so the season comes to a close. We're going to talk with Coach Abel coming up a little bit later on, but a little bit of his thoughts after the Ducks season, unfortunately, ended after one of the better seasons in program history.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously disappointed. You know, when we start the season, that's our ultimate aim. Yeah, is to play in the postseason. You know, we felt as though we were there or thereabouts. I think probably, you know, like we said, one of the last teams out. You know, we didn't probably that 10th win would have tipped us over the edge, but. You know, we can't take away from what this team's accomplished again in terms of moving our program forward in such a short space of time. Coming off of a year of the pandemic, you know, playing back-to-back seasons and a lot of positives still. Obviously, the ultimate goal wasn't met, but still a lot of good things to take away from a solid year.
Graham, how can you potentially use this as a motivator for a lot of the players who are coming back next year?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know,
if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't say our motivation ever changes, because every single year this is what we're supposed to do. You know what I mean? There's an expectation when you play here at Oregon that this is what you're supposed to do, and so the thing for us, we'll go about all our processes the same way. We'll unpack the season. We'll look at the games where we felt as though we did the things we needed to do. We'll look at the games where we didn't win the games or tied the games, and look at the takeaways, and then that's how we'll build our spring out to ensure that we make gains in those areas, to ensure that next time we're able to do enough that they can't leave us off the board.
Is there a result, whether it's from the last couple of weeks or even going back to like Baylor or something, that you say, man, that one really, really stings right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to get into it with the Baylor game, but that's an obvious one. You probably think, the Washington's weekend, when that was the one weekend where we probably dipped overall in terms of performance. I mean, you're walking out of a 19-game season with 4 losses. I mean, that's pretty good. And you look at the games that we've picked up the ties. We look at probably the Santa Barbara game early on, where we started slow in the first half, and we only got our momentum after halftime. In the San Francisco game, you look at early in the year, and so there's those little things that we'll look back on, and we'll do a deep dive in terms of looking, okay, what do we need to do next time to ensure we get positive results on the in those games.
Graham, how confident or unconfident were you coming into today when you were watching that show and as the field was being revealed? And were you with your team? Can you kind of take me behind the scenes on what this afternoon was like for you and the players?
Yeah, we half of them had class, so half of them weren't there, and I mean, there's such an academic group that there's no way they were missing class for it. So we sat with about half of the team. We had a few staff members in there, and we watched. And to be honest, I wasn't overly sure. I mean, I hope that they would take more than 4 Pac-12 teams, just given the strength of the conference, and historically how well the conference has done. We felt as though going out of region playing the Texas weekend was something that would help us. And I wasn't, I was confident that I thought we'd get in.
Me too. Graham Abel, Oregon soccer head coach. I thought the Ducks would be getting into. We're going to wrap up their season a little bit more coming up. Covered a lot of ground today. Thanks to Jody Sykes, Matt Ulmer. We're going to hear a little bit more from Oregon football as they wrapped up practice this morning, getting ready for a 7:30 kickoff against Washington State. That's all on the horizon. Duck Insider will be back tomorrow. We got basketball tonight, 4 o'clock for the men, 7:30 for the women. It is officially tip-off Tuesday. See you at MKA.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
America, your children have